That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Basically the end of winter.
Yeah, and then probably, I know like I was concerned themselves.
Okay.
Now the milk.
It's not like you would take it.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, that's not, yeah.
I would say no to that. It would be something that has.
Sign P's and Q's on.
And yes, there's certain training. Yeah.
It's a whole. You use a computer to. Lever for themselves. You'd have to use a computer. And you set up this.
Yeah.
How much you want.
Which is fun, but yeah, it'd be a lot more.
We are strong as the computer. It's also 20 years. Will be 20 years old.
Oh,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the state of the art of those things, wasn't it? It's 20 years ago. I know, it's shocking, isn't it?
What you said.
Oh,
No, it's less, so you can just see. See your. You said it's regular. Yeah.
That's my last. I don't want to work.
Same damn thing.
yeah. It also.
It's fine.
Oh, that's awful,
Oh,
yeah.
You can turn it down, it's like, the whole thing now. You
You could drive with your eyes closed.
Always thinking.
I know.
When you're retired.
Yeah.
Nice to hear
That's a story. That's heart rate.
What?
Heart rate. I was seeing something. With
Yeah.
heart rate is bad on it. Or you think it's heart friendly.
I know. How else are vandalizing?
I like heart rate.
Probably some vandalizing too. They're vandalizers.
Don't even get started on this.
Oh, I miss it. My grandma, she died 12 years ago. She was my.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, but so wonderful, like to think about it. My aunts and mother particularly.
That's a trick.
Yeah. Grandma's always made things better. Things better.
So that's how Okay, 7:30, let's call the meeting to order. Pledge of allegiance. I don't know. Pledge allegiance to the flag. United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, justice for all. Roll call, please. Mr. Dudley. Here. Ms. Thomas.
Here.
Mr. Hardy. Here. Ms. McGuire.
Here.
Mr. Thorne.
Here.
Ms. Bug.
Here.
6 trustees in attendance. We have a quorum. We have a meeting. Attending remotely this evening is the village engineer, Jeff Steele, and the village code official, Mrs. Detman. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of February 18, 2025. So
Second.
moved by Harney, seconded by Thomas to approve the minutes of February 18, 2025. Any additions, deletions, or corrections? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Minutes so carried. Thank you very much. Next item is the civility pledge, and Mrs. Wiley, please read the civility pledge this week.
Sure. In the interest of civility, I pledge to promote civility by listening, being respectful of others, acknowledging that we are all striving to support and improve our community, and understanding that we each may have different ideas for achieving that objective.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, next on the agenda is the proof of the spring edition of the legend that has been presented in the packet for approval. Everybody is happy with it. The general consensus is thumbs up. We will, let them know that they can go ahead and publish that. The one item I do have to add to the Legends issue this evening is that the editors of the Legend, Kathy Eaton and C.M. Parker, will be hosting a candidates forum on March 26th for the candidates of the Sleepy Hollow Board, both the village president and the trustees. We will be here on Wednesday, March 26th, from approximately 7 o'clock until 9 o'clock. This will be a question and answer forum with a moderator. So as details come out, they will be worked out. So we're looking for the moderator. We hope to have that wrapped up as soon as tomorrow. But the date will be Wednesday the 26th. 7 o'clock. There will be a few details on that to follow. Let you all know to keep that in mind. The rest of the president's report, nothing else for the evening. Clerk's report.
The only thing I have to report tonight, and this will sadden some of you, is that I will not be at the next meeting. I will be someplace warm. You will have in my stead Deputy Clerk Joe Nimick. Enjoy. Other than that, I have nothing to look for.
All right, thank you, Tony. Planning and zoning, Mrs. Detmer.
Yes, good evening, everyone. The only thing to report is there was a successful meeting on the 21st with the business owners. We'd hoped for a little bit better turnout, but we got some really good feedback from those that did attend, and we'll be working to incorporate their suggestions into the sign ordinance amendment. Also, the continuation of the public hearing for 1601 will be held at the Planning and Zoning meeting next Monday night, and we have received some updated plans electronically from the proponents that will be going out to the Planning and Zoning Commission as part of their packet. And lastly, I had an opportunity to speak with Arika Dakota of 1001 West Main Street, and with your blessings, she would like to come on at the next board meeting and just give an update as to what's happening at that facility. Oops, did I lose you?
No, you're still there.
Oh, okay. Did my report come through? Because all of a sudden it just my audio disappeared. So I just wanted to make sure everybody heard that. Thank you.
Oh, we've got no problem. We can put Agatha on the agenda as a presentation.
That would be wonderful. She's not planning on taking long, but she just wanted to update everybody as to what was going on in case there were any questions floating around out there.
The 17th, 8 o'clock?
Yes, sir.
All right. Have her on the agenda.
Thank you, sir. But that's all. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Barb. Okay, the next item is the attorney's report.
No report, Mr. President. Thank you.
Mr. Schuster. Engineers report, Mr. Steele.
Good evening, everyone. In your packet, you'll see the culvert analysis for Thoroughbred Lane and Hillcrest Drive. It's the two culverts that cross underneath the road for Jellicks Creek and Sleepy Creek. Just wanted to point out a few main items on that list. First off is Thoroughbred Lane. The main issue, the culvert's in fairly okay condition. I say okay just because if you look down the pipe itself, it has been lined with concrete in the past, and if you look around portions of it, you can see a separation of the pipe in the middle of it. And then also is outside of the concrete lining it appears to be metal. My guess is that it would be a CMP, but it's hard to determine. But you can see rust. So basically that just leads me that it's failing around there. So really, once that starts separating, the concrete lining starts to crack, then basically it might fail. The second is in regards to Hillcrest Drive. On that's right by Rainbow Drive, and sorry, and it's those four culverts across. It is actually in the process of failing right now, as you can see in the report. Basically, as there is no base to that, and there are holes actually forming in that. In the report, you'll also see that there are 4 cost estimations or 4 different options. One is for replacing it in kind, and then the other is basically a precast 3-sided span, which is basically what you can see in the report is what Sleepy Hollow Road is right now. We kind of recommend going that option just because it allows for easier cleaning. You won't have buildup of debris. It also has a much longer lifespan than CMP, which is what the existing pipes are underneath the road. So basically is depending on which you can either do the in-kind option or the precast option. In talking with Kyle and I agree with him on this, is we'd like to do thoroughbred first. While Hillcrest is in worse shape, Thoroughbred is actually one of the main throughs for the village. So if that actually fails, it'll be very difficult as far as routing traffic around the village. Whereas if the culvert on Hillcrest Drive fails, it's actually at a lower depth and it could maybe be repaired by Kyle a lot easier than what Thoroughbred can. And also traffic can be easier diverted around on that. So if you guys want to take a look, as far as time wise, you can see maybe it's a sticker shock as far as how long that the project would take to get started. Mostly of that is in regards to the permit phases, just because the permit process has slowed down greatly just because they're so undermanned and they're getting more and more projects throughout the year. And it's just slow going in regards to that, especially with a project like this, which is impacting the creeks themselves. So if you guys want to take a look at that, and in the meantime, if you have any questions at the moment or later on, hopefully I can answer them.
Any questions?
Jeff, I went over and looked at Hillcrest,
Yep.
and that's by far a huge cost.
Yeah.
And 50% of it is under grass.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible to only have the culvert be like, just wider than the road like it is on Thoroughbred and remove that grass?
Yeah, I believe you're talking about on the south side of it. That's mostly
Yeah.
where it's grass area there. Yeah, I mean, you can definitely cut that short and then maybe cut back the bank a little bit in order to make the only option with that is you might end up having a little bit of erosion, but we could put like riprap or a larger stone in there in order to cut back on that cost. Yeah.
That should save at least $100,000.
No, yeah. Yeah. It definitely cut down on the cost of everything there.
Any other questions for Jeff?
I do. So I assume we are not and this is actually maybe for Eugene as well. From what I understand, we're not in the position to do both. If we are only doing one at a time, I was kind of under the impression we would do Hillcrest first as well because it was so awful, but I get what you're saying with Thoroughbred. How much longer do we anticipate needing to wait in order to do Hillcrest?
I've got this as part of the budget.
Oh, okay.
So
That's what.
In regards to timing wise is the design, and also I think you saw in there maybe the wetland reports is from when they're first approved, first done is they last 3 years. And then afterwards is once they're approved by the permitting agency. So once, let's say, the Army Corps sees it and approves of it, then they last for 5 years. So if timing and budgeting ends up being an issue, is you could kind of do those processes beforehand. And really, the only thing that you wouldn't be able to do is basically apply for the permit and just let that permit sit around. But otherwise, I know Eugene has an idea as far as doing all that cost wise. So.
And then also I noticed we were talking about maybe moving some of the water main project monies over to work on
that's all going to be
this.
part of what I'm going to talk about.
Cool. Oh, but there was a follow-up to that.
Okay.
With when and if we do when we get to Hillcrest's culvert, how does that coincide? Does that coincide with where we wanted to do the water main project, or that's the other part of Hillcrest?
That's the other side of
Okay.
Hillcrest.
So I
that's
want to make sure
from
we're doing
yeah,
two
that's
things
from
separately.
Rainbow. Yeah, that's from Rainbow over to Locust.
Oh,
Any other questions? Anything else, Jeff?
Nope, that's it at the moment.
I don't believe anyone here has a question for you, so thank you, Mr. Steele. Appreciate it. Okay, we move on to the Director's Finance Report.
Okay, well, we're gonna go from the easy to the hard. So first thing, requesting a motion to approve the accounts payable in the amount of $111,537.68.
So moved.
Second,
Moved by Thorne, seconded by Bo to approve the warrants of March 3rd, 2025, in the amount of $111,537.68. Any additions, deletions, comments, or questions? Being none, roll call please.
Mr. Dattley.
Aye.
Mr. Hardy.
Aye.
Mr. Thorne.
Aye.
Ms. Bo.
I,
Ms. McGuire.
Aye.
Ms. Thomas.
Aye.
6 affirmative votes, no negative votes, motion so carries. Thank you, one and all.
Okay, the second item is the McLeod Aquatics estimate. The Board of Trustees had sent this over to the Finance Committee to discuss. And we discussed it. And the general thought was it's basically throwing good money after bad. And the recommendation was to reject the McLeod Aquatics bid and obtain a cost estimate from the village engineer for the replacement of the Lake Sharon Dam to be pursued in conjunction with the Hillcrest Culvert project. So at the time that we do the Hillcrest Culvert, this is all the same part of that body of water. And so the samplings or whatever for the one, will help with the other ones. And by doing the two projects together, it would be, more cost effective. And because anything we put into Lake Sharon at this point is, until we get the dam fixed, it's not gonna work. And so that was the recommendation from the Finance Committee.
Any questions on that?
What about treatment like last year? Is this open for compromise or something? It was just for the aesthetic.
I know,
Just for the
yeah,
aesthetics.
the Finance Committee felt, that, with the upcoming Hillcrest culverts in the thoroughbred, that it was unsustainable for the village to just continue to put the money in. Now, there was a suggestion that if the residents around there would like to contribute a share, the village will contribute a share and continue like last year. But that would, the residents would have to come forward on that.
We'd have to have the money first from them before we would commit to our portion. Okay, because we don't want to get in a situation where we pay for it and then have to own the residents, to get their portion.
There's what, 10, 11 properties that border that along with the village. And the thought was, if they really wanted to do that, then everybody pitch in. And the village would pitch in its share.
Okay, village being one of the residents.
Village being one of the.
Okay, we're about half.
So it was roughly, if that's a $12,000 estimate, if the residents came in with 6,000, the village would come in with 6,000. But we're gonna have to see the 6,000 up front, not a promise of 6,000. That was,
12,000 was doing everything, treating upper, lower, everything.
right, but with
So
this
if the residents
Hillcrest
came
thing,
in with a lesser amount, we could.
if it was a
match.
lower, yeah. But I said, the other thing that came in was, when we're talking about those culverts.
Right.
If you look at that report, a lot of the stuff we have to do for that
Yes.
would be done, with this other one, so why don't duplicate it? We're gonna get all that study done eventually in the next year or two, replacement of culverts. So
That's more of the long-term expense.
the
I
long
guess the
term,
question
that's,
is-
well, that was, the nice thing is that the Finance Committee was looking at the long term as
Right.
opposed to why drop 12 in it now? If it's the dam that's the problem, let's start working on the dam. And the information coming from the culvert north of it is going to help with that decision.
But in the meantime,
In the meantime,
we'd have to decide, or it would have to be decided if it's worth just improving the aesthetics for a little while until we can get to the root cause.
I have one question. In the past, the dam has always been, and there's been a lot of things out there of what's right. And, you know, the Army Corps of Engineers won't let us do this or won't let us do that. What is the actual feasibility of getting that so they will let us do something to it?
That was kind of the question that the finance committee looked at. It's that we can't, whatever we decide to do with Lake Sharon, it's gotta encompass that dam. So either the Corps of Engineers is gonna allow us to fix it, so we can fix Lake Sharon, or they're gonna tell us to take it out.
Gotcha.
Okay? We can only continue guessing what they're gonna do, but this path would allow us to actually have an answer of what we can do.
Okay. Thank you.
any other questions? Estimate from the cloud?
So then we would need a motion whether to accept or reject the
Finance committee recommendation?
is to reject it.
So moved.
Second,
Moved by Thorne, seconded by Bo to not accept the estimate from the Cloud of Aquatics for Lake Sharon for the 2025 season.
So a yes vote means no.
Yes, vote means you are saying no.
Okay.
One against Mr. Schuster's rule, always make it in the pot.
Well, as long as everyone understands what they're saying.
Okay, everybody understand? Okay, I'm gonna do a roll call on this one.
Mr. Dattley,
Aye.
Ms. Thomas,
Aye.
Mr. Hardy,
Aye.
Ms. Bo,
aye.
Mr. Thorne.
Aye.
Ms. McGuire.
Aye.
6 affirmative votes, no negative votes, we will move on.
Okay, the ancillary fees. The finance committee took a look at the ancillary fees and, is asking to, change several of them. The police department would like to add a body cam video request fee of $5. This will cover the cost of a flash drive, so that when these requests come in, that we have a way of recouping that cost. We would like to increase the usage rate on water to an even $10. I took a look at the cost of the meters, what we are currently charging were based on the prices of 4 or 5 years ago. And if we're to keep up with inflation, so we would actually have the money to replace the meters as they start to fail, we have to raise our fees to keep up with inflation. So that would mean a new fee for a 3/4 inch meter of $3.45, a 1 inch meter of $3.89, the 1.5 inch to $11, and the 2 inch to $12.96. We only have one 3 inch meter, which we just got that price, so we would leave that one the same. The sewer demand charge, the sewer has been running in the red. And if we don't do something about it, it's gonna be even deeper red. Part of the issue is we have these forward payments that are being passed to us from West Dundee. There was a long negotiation about it, and it's a very steep expense. And if we don't, we should have adjusted our rates accordingly in the past. And this is gonna be the only way to help break even. I have a plan for those forward payments. We had a development expansion improvement fund for sewer that has, I think, about $600,000 in it right now. And I spoke to Kyle, and there's no plans for us to develop, improve, or expand the system at that. And what I would like to do is use that money in that account to pay the forward payments for at least next year. And the payment is $25,000. I think after a couple of years, the payments drop down to 12,000, but for right now, this is why we're having a hard time covering the budget. Is because of these payments. The other half is our depreciation, which is a non-cash expense, so I'm not overly concerned about that. But at least if we can relieve the pressure of the forward payments on the sewer account, it would be much better. The $6.70 water loan will be eliminated after the October 2025 billing. So that would be the billing that's in November. Week or so. After that, it would come off. So look at the transition fees, and what I was asked to do is look at what the taxes on a $400,000 house would be. So I searched through the village and found one that had a tax record of, it was about $385,000. The house value was $470,000. So I felt that was a good compromise. And so the transition fees that I had sent you are reflective of what those house values are. So these only come into effect if we have a development within the village that we feel that we have to charge. And then these costs will get passed on to the other agencies. So our portion would be $860. So a motion to accept the changes in the ancillary fees.
So moved, Arnie.
Second.
Moved by Arnie, seconded by Thorne to approve the ancillary fees as recommended by the Finance Committee. Continue to the board this evening. Comments, questions, discussion? None, being none. Roll call, please.
Mr. Dattley,
Aye.
Ms. Bo,
Aye.
Ms. Thomas,
Aye.
Mr. Thorne,
Aye.
Mr. Harney,
Aye.
Mr. Dryer.
Aye.
6 affirmative votes, no negative votes. So carries. Well,
So now looking at the 5-year cap. There are several new items. Kyle went on a spending spree, but it's necessary because of the age of the equipment that he's had. We'll start with administration. When we went with MSI, the standalone version, I was hoping that it would solve a lot of our problems that we're having when we go to look up an account. There's like a 30 to 45 second delay before we even get the screen to refresh. And it's because of the way the system is designed, where it is going line by line in the code between my laptop to West Dundee, back to my laptop, for every single line in it. And it's kind of an unacceptable delay. There's been some other minor problems. In order to get an update on the system, they have to go through Skylar because the system is so locked down. So MSI offers a cloud-based version that we'd be able to pick up from any computer and be able to access, and we believe that it would solve a lot of our problems. The downside that is killing me, it's $4,500 a year for that, because they have to pay for server space and stuff like that. I would like it, but it's killing me. The other issue is computer upgrades. We were notified by Skylar that in October of this year that Windows 10 is no longer a viable option, and it is they are no longer secure. And so that we have to move our computers that are in that are Windows 10 based up to a newer computer. The majority of the computers we have can be updated, but there's, I think they said like 9 of them that cannot. And so she gave us a cost of, I think she said about 13,000, 4,000 of it for the administration and the rest for police. On the police side, we have security cameras, but we really don't have a server that can handle the traffic. We wanted to put like a security camera in the lobby. There had been some instances that it would have been helpful if it had been reported. And so a new security camera server would be $3,100. Squad 12, which is one of our newer squads, in order to get an extended warranty, would be 4,000. This is down the road, a 54-inch zero-turn motor in fiscal year 28 for 18,000. We should get some money back on the current one. And then in fiscal year 29, a 72-inch zero-turn mower. And then I put in the 5-year cap, the thoroughbred culvert replacement. The Finance Committee recommends that we do the thoroughbred first, just because it does cut off the traffic from the east and west sides of the village, and the work around would be very difficult. And I've been thinking, how do we pay for this thing? And then it kind of dawned on me that we do have a pot of money that we had been putting aside for a different project. When the ARPA money came out, it was restricted to being infrastructure related. At the time, we didn't really have much of an infrastructure projects. So we had dedicated it to the water main replacement. And what I would like to do is reallocate that money from the water main to do this thoroughbred project. The reason being is that we would be more easily able to get a loan to pay for the water main than we would be able to get it for Hillcrest. Whether it's a bank or whatever, what they're going to want to look at is that how are you going to pay this back? And we can show them with the water main paying it back from user fees. We don't have user fees for the culvert. So then it would have to be on the faith of the village in order to do it. So we would end up with a much higher interest rate. So by reallocating the money from the ARPA money, we'd be able to pretty much pay for the entire project. And we could actually do that this year, or as soon as Jeff could get the ball rolling. And next year, Kyle says he would like to replace his utility vehicle. How old is that thing?
2001.
Yeah, so it's well beyond its useful life. Another situation with a truck to replace a 450 truck, we have to buy the chassis up front and get the add-ons later, so we would have to do that next year. An F-250 in fiscal year 27. A snowplow dump truck to replace the International of 250,000 in fiscal year 28.
That's the one we just talked about. No, it's a different one?
Yes.
Okay.
And then the last bit of equipment would be a debris loader for 5250.
That's the 5-year wish count.
That's the 5-year wish list. So we can do all of those, none of those, add to it, subtract from it, whatever your wish is.
And we do not have Hillcrest culvert on here as well.
Not at this point.
Okay.
So my thought on Hillcrest is that if we can kind of maintain the roads as they are now, We did not need the 120,000 that we had allocated for the roads for the crane project. We were able to pay for that with the DECA loans and the MFT. And so we had, we only used a little portion of the other stuff that we had set aside. Because we had set aside 240,000 of the 5-year cap, but we only probably used around 80. So my thought is if we could save up some of those $120,000 ones, and we also have money for culverts. If we can use that and kind of combine it, we'd be in a couple of years be able to put together the money in order to do it. The roads would suffer a little bit, but
Done it before.
you know, it's you have to pick and choose your battles.
What's the next road or street that would be on the list be considered?
I gave Jeff a list of, a lot.
Okay, yeah, there's some bad, I don't know, there's some bad ones out there.
You know, maybe it would come down to doing, you know, more temporary repairs to handle the project. And it kind of comes down to, you know, which is more important. You know,
Can I interject there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, Kyle gave me a large list, at least as far as streetwise. And if the plan is to eventually just kind of not wean money, but basically forego a street 1 year, is to let us know the previous year so we can kind of get patching done on that road. That way we're not waiting till the last moment when Kyle ends up having to go throw a bunch of coal patch out there. It's just basically kind of get that patching done maybe the year before if we know that a street program is going to happen that year.
we're still gonna have a street program, but we're just gonna use MFT money solely.
Yeah, I mean, at least as far as, not that full amount, it's just basically kind of know if we're gonna end up
We're not gonna be
being down
replaced.
on it.
Yeah, we're not gonna replace 2 or 3 miles of pavement.
Right.
Well, we may catch a, a quarter of a mile here or something like that, do some shoulder work. Yeah. You know what the drill is, Jeff, we've done it before.
Ends up-
That happens far too
Down the
much.
road.
It ends up being more expensive in the long run, though.
Well, you gotta save the money somewhere. If we got 240 to spend on roads today, if we spend 120, we save 120, we use that for next year, we got 360 for next year. So slowly but surely, we work our way back up. It's ignoring the payments that gives you the problems. Okay.
Let's move on to the,
Yeah. Go on to the budget.
let's move on to the budget.
Yeah, it's part of the 5-year cap. 5-year cap's part of it.
I use very conservative figures of, for our income side. One of the hardest hit for us is our local use. It's about half of what it was in the past. And, I'm using the figures that are coming from IML. It's one of these situations, it is what it is. But what I did do is I raised our anticipated interest income. I have not seen a dip in the rates. And I think we're gonna still be good at least until October. And if not beyond. So I was a little bit aggressive, more aggressive than I usually am. So I'm saying we're gonna get 85,000 to date. At this point, we've gotten 105. So it's still gonna be a conservative amount. I put in the budget, the line items for the village administrator and for IMRF. Now, voting on the budget doesn't mean these things are going to happen. All it is just making sure that the money is in the budget if it happens. So that this way we don't have to do an amendment to the budget later on down the road, that we're already planning ahead for it. We've gotten hit with West Dundee with a lot of expenses. For years, when Spring Hill Mall was going, they weren't charging us for a lot of things that they are now charging us for. We never paid for phone service. We are now paying $800 a month for phone service. we weren't paying for internet. We're now paying $240 a month for internet. And so it's just all these little things that, you know, we got away with in the past. And it's very hard for me to object and complain when they have been so good to us. You know, we could say a lot of bad things about West Dundee, but they really have been good to us. And they have not raised their IT costs to us in years. And we're maintaining it at that same level, and they're very responsive. Yeah, you know, I don't know about on the police side, but you know, on our side, you know, they're very responsive. So that was about an $8,000 increase. We have not had anything in our miscellaneous expense. And we've kind of run into trouble with that. You know, last year we had a concert in the park. And if we plan to have another concert in the park, I think that he's building into the budget. And so that'll be about $600, and then there's still like 150, whatever left over in the miscellaneous category. I'll let Chief Brown talk about the increases in police.
So one of the things I've been talking about for actually a couple of years now is increasing or trying to shift our focus from part-time oriented to full-time oriented. We just simply can't continue hiring part-time people and keep them trained to the state standards. When an officer is out of compliance, the state will first, for lack of a better term, make them yellow, which puts them in caution. And if they don't get brought into compliance, they make them red, which is they basically decertify or inactivate the officer can't. Trying to have a huge cadre of part-time officers like we had in the past era, which I think the most we were allocated was 12 or 14 part-time officers. I've never even approached that number. I think the highest I've ever gotten was 6, maybe 7 at the most. But trying to keep part-time officers who have full-time commitment somewhere else trained and certified is nearly impossible today. So I'm trying to switch our focus to full-time. It's easier for me to train them and hopefully retain those officers. So what I'm looking to do is get one additional full-time officer. I was able to adjust the budget by getting an additional full-time officer, lower my amount of overtime, lower my part-time budget, so that the increase in salaries is about 17 or 18,000 total dollars to get a full-time officer versus the part-time officers. So that's what I'm looking to do with those numbers. So, and there's part-time departments, smaller part-time departments that are actually folding up in Illinois, that are just saying, you know what, we got 2 officers and 3 officers and we can't keep them trained. We're done. We're closing up shop and going to let the county handle it. That's okay if you got a town of 400 people. Not okay when you got a town of 4,000 people.
Part of that increase was an increase in the police chief's compensation, but I believe that's a contractual matter. But again, it's built into the budget, so it can handle it. Kyle would like water sampling stations. He has to do EPA required water samplings on a regular basis, on a monthly basis.
Quarterly, depending on what sample, monthly is bacteria.
And by having these sample stations, you wouldn't have to go into the residents' houses to obtain the samples. And then the plan is to replace 5 more hydrants. I think you said that there was a total of 25 that needed to be replaced, and you've got 5 down already.
Yeah, 5 down, 20 more to go. And then new water.
How many hydrants do we have throughout the mill?
About 350, give or take.
350 hydrants and 5 hydrants. And 5K to install.
Yeah.
So 10K for a fire hydrant, $3.5 million.
We can give Rutland the bill if you want.
What's that?
We can send the bill to Rutland, see if they'll.
Fortunately, we don't have to do them all at the same time.
Yes.
Okay.
Um, part of that increase was a increase in the police chief's compensation, but I believe that's a contractual matter. But again, it's built into the budget, so it can handle it. So, this budget did not include an annual transfer from the general fund into the 5-year cap. But what has happened in the past several years is we've pretty much doubled through savings, what we had planned on giving. So I think, even though we're not planning on anything being transferred, there's an overage of $47,000. I believe that we'll probably have about 200,000. Again, based on the conservative, income figures and cutting back on expenses. The 5-year cap is obviously going to be going down significantly because of the heavy hit of some of the items. The water is going to have, even after depreciation, is going to be about 75,000 to the good. And again, at this point, without transferring the money from the PIE funds to the forward payments, we're at a loss of 47,000. Any questions?
It's the 5-year cap and
And the budget.
proposed fiscal year 26.
So some of the decisions that need to be made by the board is to redesignate the ARPA water main funds to the thoroughbred culvert project. But again, at this point, the funds never left the general fund. They're still sitting in there. We need to designate the sewer DIE funds to make the forward payment at least for next year. Approval of the ancillary fees, the 5-year plan, and the budget.
We did the ancillary fees.
Yep. We just have to do the 5-year plan and the budget. So we would need a motion for each one of those things.
I have one question about the water main money, not the water main
Yeah.
money, what we were considering the water main money. Not that it was ever mine to deal with, but I've been having ideas with it. I was under the impression one of the things that we needed in order to get grants and to help get grants for water main projects and moving forward was a substantial savings so that we can do 50-50 matching.
That was never my understanding.
Nope, okay. Then never,
The plan was to go to the IEPA
okay,
and get a loan from them. At this point,
that's the high interest still.
it's still the higher. It's the low interest rate that's at a high interest right now.
Yeah.
When we first started talking about this, they were charging 1.1%.
Right.
Yeah,
And I believe they're up
It's almost up to 2.
1.6,
something like that.
1.7%. Yeah, it was always, the idea was never a matching grant with this one. This
Okay.
was a loan
Okay,
and pay it off.
all right, I
If we
feel,
could find a grant for it, but as Eugene was explaining earlier, that's an iffy situation, and with the cash, just get it done.
1.87.
yeah, it's like,
Versus what, 6.5
Yeah,
or more?
we're still
Yeah.
low.
We can-
It's low, right? Sure.
We can ask for a hardship rate of 1%, but they're not gonna give it to us. If we were
Oh, so
Dalton or something like that, we would get it, but they're not gonna give it to us.
okay.
Our annual income per capita is too high.
Yeah.
We need the separate motions for the budget, the 5 cap, and then also moving the ARPA funds
ARPA
over.
money and then the forward payment.
I'll move to move the ARPA money to the thoroughbred project.
Moved by Bo, seconded by Thomas to redesignate the ARPA funds from the water main fund to a thoroughbred culvert replacement fund. Any further comments, questions, or discussion? There being none, roll call please.
Mr. Hardy,
Aye.
Ms. McGuire,
Aye.
Ms. Thomas.
Aye.
Mr. Thorne,
Hi,
Mr. Dattley,
Aye.
Ms. Bo.
I,
6 affirmative votes, no negative votes, motion so carries. Well,
Okay.
that one,
So does someone want a motion then for the sewer DIE?
I'll do that one too. I'll move this or DIE. These are my areas.
slow down, Bo, slow down.
Cover she likes spending money.
I need to record this, so,
Sitting next to Kyle.
so.
Just taking responsibility for my departments.
Yes,
The sewer improvement funds.
to pay
Cover
for
forward.
improvements.
The
Got it.
forward improvements payment.
So, Ms.
Wait.
Bo made the
Fox
motion.
River for water.
Yep, she did.
Who seconded?
Thorn.
More.
Okay. And you
Now that we
roll
caught the
call.
clerk up.
Yeah. Yeah, there goes.
Okay, the motion
There
by
goes my
Bo
blood pressure.
was
Mr.
to-
Datley,
Aye.
Ms. Thomas,
Aye.
Mr. Harney,
Aye.
Ms. McGuire,
Aye.
Mr. Thorne,
Aye.
Ms. Bo.
Aye.
6 affirmative votes, no negative votes, motion so carries.
Okay. So this one would be a motion for the 5-year capital plan, which includes the thoroughbred culvert project. So we would need a motion for that.
So moved.
Second,
Moved by Thorne, seconded by Bo to approve the fiscal year 2026 budget.
5-year capital.
Budget and
Oh,
5-year
you want to do
cap.
both of them together?
No.
Well, I thought we were
The
doing
motion
one at a
was
time.
5-year
Or the 5-year
capital.
cap is in the budget.
Well,
No,
we were
motion-
separated.
Okay,
the
you
motion
separate,
was for the
okay.
5-year cap.
Okay.
Improvement fund, including the thoroughbred culvert project.
Okay, all right,
Mr.
on the
Clerk.
5-year, okay,
Got that?
all right, on the 5-year cap
Only
only.
Yeah.
Which includes the culvert replacement for thoroughbred.
for thoroughbred.
Any other comments, questions, or discussion?
You're going down.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Bo,
aye.
Ms. McGuire,
Aye.
Ms. Thomas,
Aye.
Mr. Harney,
Aye.
Mr. Datley,
Aye.
Mr. Thorne.
Aye.
6-0 once again, thank you all.
Transition.
That was covered on just part of the ancillary piece. It's part of the ancillary. schedule.
We got that, 6-0.
Okay, so
The budget. right?
do we want Hines to start on the thoroughbred culvert now and at the end of this fiscal year, or at least get the ball rolling? So come May,
Oh, why wait at this point? You planned to move the money.
There are no funds budgeted for the,
there's no funds budget.
but he could start work
he-
and be paid then in the next fiscal year.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
What
he
I'm
could be paid
understanding.
for his engineering.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah.
Because there's gonna be minor costs, and we do have money in the stuff to pay for, you know, the lower levels.
We're gonna get all this first stuff started, so as we go into the fees and the timeline.
Exactly, so, because otherwise, if we wait until May for him to start his work. Jeff, how long would it take if you started in May versus starting now?
Really the holdup is gonna be basically what would happen as far as time schedule wise is we'd start the design portion of it, kind of contact the permitting agencies, just let them be aware of what's going on. That way at least they can get us permit numbers and kind of have it on their books just to kind of speed up that process. So I mean, really, if you wanted to wait, it wouldn't be all that bad because you're talking about May, or wait, what is it? March, never mind, March, April, May. I mean, it'd help, but in the end, the construction won't happen until next year, obviously, but at least we'd be able to speed up the process on the permits.
Yeah.
Start it now.
Starting that.
Yep.
Okay.
Do it.
We still got the
Still move for the budget?
budget.
The budget now. So need a motion to approve the budget as it is. Again, it's, some of those items are in there just to set money aside. It's not, you know, guaranteeing those positions.
Just to be clear, the budget's not a binding document at all.
Yeah, right.
It's a basis for your appropriation ordinance. That's the
Right.
one that matters. That's due by the end of the first quarter.
Right.
So, you know, this is the guideline though. This is what you'll all expect to see in appropriation.
I'll move.
Second,
Moved by McGuire, seconded by Bo to approve the fiscal year 2026 budget as presented. Any further comments, questions, additions, deletions? Complain now or forever hold your peace. Being no other comments or questions, roll call please.
Ms. Bo,
aye.
Mr. Datley,
Aye.
Mr. Thorne,
Hi.
Mr. Thomas,
Aye.
Mr. Guire,
Aye.
Mr. Harney.
6-0 again. Thank you all.
So the increase in the water usage fee and sewer demand fee were covered in the ancillary fee increase, so we do not need separate motions for that. That's all I got.
Gavel back. Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Van? No? Okay, thank you, Eugene, appreciate it. And thank you, Mr. Thorne and the Finance Committee.
Yeah.
For getting this done. This is one of the earliest we've seen in budget.
It was about a 3-hour meeting.
Yeah, it was, one afternoon.
Sure.
There's no short ones when it comes to budgets, that's for
Nope.
sure. It's a good looking one. I think you guys would be happy with it.
We had a lot of good conversation.
Yep.
So it wasn't,
That was a
the
good
decisions
meeting.
were not made lightly.
Yeah.
No. It's just, as he pointed out, you're gonna be going into next year with $1.6 million in 5-year cap. And you're gonna be coming out $300,000 short. With nothing going back in. It just keeps going down. So. It's gonna be your job to find the extra nickels and dimes to put back in there. Okay, I'm done with finance for the evening. Thank you,
Yep.
Eugene. Comments from the public, Mrs. Vernon.
Hello, my name is Debbie Vernon. My husband Pete and I live at 821 Locust Drive. We lived 22 years as homeowners and residents in the village of Sleepy Hollow. We really do love and adore the unique village of Sleepy Hollow. It's very special for people who live there. Both of our backgrounds have been in government. Mine was in finance and Pete's was in building, zoning, development, and building codes consulting. He has worked with architects, construction managers, and owners for public buildings, including police, fire stations, village halls, and school districts 300 and U46. I am holding up the petition that we have circulated that says no to the storage facilities. This has received 387 signatures. There's approximately 1,100 households in the village of Sleepy Hollow. They're all from all neighborhoods. Sleepy Hollow Manor by Sleepy Hollow Elementary School, Saddle Club, all throughout the village. We started the petition the end of January. I'm going to read the petition. The undersigned residents of Village of Sleepy Hollow wish to express to the Board of Trustees and the Board President in the strongest possible terms, our displeasure with the prospect of another special use permit and zoning variance being granted to allow a storage facility to be erected on the site of 1601 West Main Street. It is our opinion that such use is first not in keeping with the character of our community, and is further our opinion that the sales tax revenues from such a facility would be hardly anything. It further seems doubtful that such an enterprise would be sustainable, given there are at least 10 other storage facilities with hundreds and hundreds of units available located within a 5-mile radius of this location. And there are the IDOT Route 72 access issues. Additionally, there are concerns regarding the ability of the site to be compliant with the access road requirements for emergency vehicles in Chapter 5 of the adopted fire code. The undersigned residents requested the board to vote against using this special use. I would like the village board to consider the residents that had signed this petition to make their voice heard. Next, I would like to discuss the map that I passed out, which is this map. I think I passed this out because it came from reading the application from Timothy Jones for his special use variance request. That was on page 9, 12325. His words on his statement said, may cause a depreciation in the property values with the neighborhood. This visual shows houses on Laurel Court right next to 1601 West Main Street, the proposed self-storage facility. This is what may happen if the residents want to sell their homes. Will they get less market value for the sales? That's why the sales signs are on there. Will this happen because of the poor decisions of the Sleepy Hollow Board? If the board would approve such a special use, just say no, Sleepy Hollow Board, to a self-storage facility. Like the 387 plus residents have said on the petition. Sleepy Hollow, please do better. Please do better. The last item that I'm going to talk about is this
1 minute.
document. How much one?
1 minute.
Okay, got it. So anyway, these documents talked about what special use reasons should be denied. There's drawings, there's maps, some highlights in it. In the B2 district, there's natural resources. Those mean trees. They must be protected and not destroyed in the process of development. This says this in the zoning code 8-1-3. Did that happen? No, it didn't. Next, 85-1-B. It states B2 district, nature and appearance should be compatible with the character of the neighboring areas of the village. So these huge metal sheds and buildings are compatible with the character of lovely residential homes? I personally don't think so. Section 714B, number 27. Approved fire apparatus roads should be designed so there's continuous flow around the exterior of the buildings. They submitted Mr. James, that use these big metal buildings for a shed. What kind of fence is that without leaving any room for the fire trucks to go around? Well, that is not correct. So he concerned about the residents of Sleepy Hollow? I don't think so. This was poorly designed way for the self-storage facility with the metal trailers. Again, say no to the self-storage facility. Sleepy Hollow can and should do better. And I hope they do. I really hope so. For the residents of Sleepy Hollow that you serve. This is a very important issue for the 387 plus residents. And I do thank you for your concerns and for your letting me have the comments. Thank you.
Welcome, thank you. Okay, that's it for public comments, trustee reports, roads and parks, Mr. Harmon.
It's that time of year when the state, who we buy rock salt for the roads, they wanna know our intentions this year. And it's Kyle's suggestion that we continue doing business with them. But before he can officially tell them that, he needs board approval.
Correct.
And someone will ask at what cost. We don't know the cost until October. But it's been proven that by buying in bulk through the state, we do get the lowest cost. You have to commit to an amount at this point?
Yeah.
How much might be left over from last year?
There was some left over from the year
Yeah,
before.
decent amount, just like last year. That's why the last 2 years I'm requesting, I've only ordered 80% of our allotted tonnage. In years past, we put in for 700 tons. Last year I put in for 550. I want to put in for 550 again, just in case we have a normal winter
So
next
that
year.
means you have to take like 400
440 tons.
tons.
Mhm.
And the max is
20%
560.
Yeah, max
440
is 660.
560 is the top
Mhm.
that we can buy.
Yeah,
I just remember in the past, even with having to do this, we still buy it much cheaper than you can buy it on the open market.
correct, yeah.
So we're, it's still a program that's advantageous for the village to be a part of.
Yeah, and that's the shipping prices included in that too. I went through the last 15 years of salt purchases. We used to allot for 800 tons a year. One year they had we had issues with the state delivering it and they weren't honoring the contract, per the contract. You put in an order, they have to get it to you within 7 days or it's discounted. So the following year, we went private and it was, I think it was like 2013 was the year. We paid $110 a ton that year, so.
Yeah.
So it's been a decent program. It's just, it's not really fair for the municipalities to have to declare how much they want. We can still get up to
Before we're even done with winter.
Yeah. And then
Well,
not
let
know
me
what
tell you
you're
about
gonna
the
pay for it.
bicycle industry.
Yeah,
But you definitely don't want to run out.
yeah,
Then
that's
you pay a real premium.
with the salt that I anticipate us having for the rest of the year. And then combined with this, we should be covered if we have a normal winter or severe winter next year.
So I will make the motion that we continue doing business with the state.
Joint
For our
participation
rock
agreement.
Second, Diatley.
Moved by Harney, seconded by Diatley to authorize the Village of Sleepy Hollow to enter into the state joint purchasing agreement for road salt for the winter of 25-26. Any other comments, questions, or discussion? This is going to be a financial responsibility of the village, so let's do a roll call.
Ms. McGuire,
Aye.
Mr. Thorne,
Aye.
Ms. Bo,
Aye.
Mr. Harney,
Aye.
Ms. Thomas,
Aye.
Mr. Dattley.
Aye.
Strong votes, no negative votes. We've got the salt.
Also, this is an open invitation. Had 2 ride-alongs with me. I think they both enjoyed their time and it was kind of an eye-opening experience. So if any board members wanna see what it's like.
Can't sleep at night, want to ride a plow.
Can we sit inside the cab this time or?
It is a rough ride because the passenger seat is not an air ride seat, so you do bang around a little.
Juice or coffee?
Yeah, but does the heater work on
Bring
the
your own
passenger
coffee.
side?
Yeah.
Don't need to worry about heating those things, that's
You
one.
just have to catch the mailboxes.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else, Mr. Harney?
Nothing extra report.
All right, thank you, Ed. Moving on. Okay, time's up. All right, finance, Mr. Thorne.
Nothing further, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mark. Water and sewer, Ms. Bo.
No report.
Thank you, Courtney. Police and public safety, Mr. Diatley.
I don't have anything. Chief just has some quick numbers he wants to share with us on the traffic count.
Yeah, I wanted to give some details on the, I did 11 days of gathering, data on Joy. Basically right at the bottom of the hill, both directions. And what we got is traffic going westbound towards Randall. We had a total of 4,299 cars, and I have to say, I was very surprised by the number of vehicles. I didn't expect the number to be that high. So it's 4,299 cars that were going westbound. The average speed still around 27 miles an hour. The 85th speed, the 85th percentile, which means basically 85% of the vehicles are traveling at or below that speed, is 30 miles an hour. So that tells me that people, for the most part, are obeying the traffic laws. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not some outliers. And the nice thing about the traffic counter is it gives me hourly data. So now I've been able to send officers out at certain times saying, pay attention around these times specifically, which allows me to use our limited resources in a much better way. So that was the summary for westbound. The highest speed I had was 48. Nobody should try and break that. I'm not suggesting that, but that was the highest speed we had in that direction was 48. Eastbound Joy coming from Randall, we had a total of 3,919 vehicles, so pretty similar numbers.
Yeah.
Average speed was right around 26 miles an hour. The 85th percentile on that was 29 miles an hour, so very similar speeds both directions. The highest speed in that direction was 53, which is that's clipping along pretty good. That was really early on a Saturday morning, about 4 o'clock in the morning. But still, I'm not comfortable going near that speed when I'm going to a call. So that was, and it was an outlier for sure, because the next closest speed wasn't within 6 miles an hour of that. So that's basically the summary. What I'll be doing now in my board reports is, I'm gonna be moving the traffic counter to different locations. I'm gonna get some pre-data on Locust again, before we put the speed hump back out there. So we have pre and post data out there. I want to get some good data on Sleepy Hollow Road. The current sign we have on Sleepy Hollow Road, it's nice, it glows, it lights up, but it's not really an effective spot for that traffic counter. It should be moved substantially further south than it is, but we can't move it. So I'm gonna use our traffic box to get us some other data on Sleepy Hollow Road, see what we've got going on there. So that'll be in my board report, and I'll break it down as we go forward, especially coming into the weather warming up now. We just had one of our squad cars, our 2021 squad cars. So if anybody asks you why we buy the extended warranties on these cars, it had 57,000 miles and it had to have the transmission rebuilt. So we spent about 2,900 on the extended warranty for that car. That rebuilt transmission would have cost us about 3,500. So it paid for itself in that one repair. That's why I buy the extended warranties on these cars. There's just too many things that can go wrong. I think that's it. Yeah, I have two candidates. I'm trying to, I've got a lot of things spinning. I have two candidates. I should be done with backgrounds that I'm hopefully going to be bringing to the board as well. I'm going to be, I've got to replace Sergeant Wilson's full-time slot. She's going to be, everybody join us Friday. We're going to be having a celebration of her 30 years of service to the village. So we're going to be replacing her slot as well. So got a lot of things going.
Sergeant Wilson's, retirement party's noon to 3 Friday.
From noon to 3 Friday, here at Village Hall.
Nothing further?
That's it. All right. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Steve. Public buildings and environment. McGuire.
No report tonight.
Jennifer. Building and zoning. Ms. Thomas.
No report.
Thank you, Kelly. Any old business? Business come before the board? New business?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Well, before we vote on that, just remember tomorrow is Tuesday. Enjoy.
Wait a minute, who voted, who made the motion?
I move to adjourn.
Thank you.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We're adjourned.